This is a 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe four-wheel drive Premier, the big boy body-on-frame truck-based SUV that started its fifth generation in 2021. For 2022, Chevrolet expanded the availability of the optional 6.2-liter V8 and added features to the center console touchscreen, as well as a few other bits and bobs. My name is Robin Warner, an experienced engineer and magazine editor, and I'm going to show you the car in detail, inside and out, as well as take it for a drive through a variety of roads to show you how it works. The Premier Tahoe is the second highest of 6 trims, which means you get 20-inch alloy wheels, magnetic ride control, and heated and ventilated front seats. And this particular Tahoe is optioned with the aforementioned 6.2-liter V8 that produces a peak 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. That power then goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission and on to your choice of the rear or all four wheels. The base price for the 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe is $51,795. A four-wheel drive Premier is $67,695, and my test car cost $76,670. For those that are interested, I included detailed specifications, including dimensions, fuel economy, and options in the description. All right, let's take a look around the car. All right, guys, welcome to a cloudy and a little windy, yet kind of warm Michigan February day. And check out the 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe four-wheel drive Premier. And this particular car is painted in midnight blue metallic. Now, the 2022 model year is the second year of the 5th generation Tahoe. So you're looking at a yet again bigger vehicle with a new look. In front, we've got this, somewhat tasteful, but still pretty darn big bow tie right here. And I do like the chrome finish of the grille and this detail that we see right here. I also do like the pattern of this full LED headlight display. Looking at the car in profile, it's kind of hard to miss that this thing is well over 6 feet tall and 210 inches long. The wheelbase is over 120 inches, and this is the shorter of the two. Remember, the Suburban is bigger again. But aside from the size, I like the details of the styling. I like the chrome finish side view mirror caps. I like the chrome finish around the windows. And I think this is kind of like a nice contrast to the black here and the midnight blue right here. And that's also true of the chrome finish roof rails up there. Because this is the Premier, we get 20-inch aluminum wheels, not 18s, but if this were the top-of-the-line high country, you'd get standard 22-inch wheels. Now, 22-inch wheels are available on the Premier if that's the way you want to go. If I can stretch up that high, that is a panoramic moonroof. We get a panoramic moonroof because this has the $4,485 premium package, which includes that and a lot of other stuff. Roof mounted spoiler for all that extra needed downforce. Looking in back, we've got a nice Premier logo right there, and we've got quad exhaust tips right there, and those guys are plenty real. And right here behind that piece of plastic is your trailer hitch. Good thing this thing can tow a lot. Since we're in back, this is a great time to show you inside, and I'm going to start with the liftgate. Now I'm going to spend more time than I usually do on this liftgate because this is a pretty clever liftgate. First of all, it's hands-free, so all you have to do is kick right around here and it'll open. And that reveals 26 cubic feet of cargo space. And hold on, let me get a light. There you go, 26 cubic feet of cargo space, and that is behind the third row. But that is not the end of the story, because first of all, I can press this button right here. That will close it. But you can also adjust how much it opens. So to do that, first thing I have to do is go into the front, change this setting to 3/4 instead of max. Now I'm going to open it. But now that it's open and it's set to 3/4, I'm going to adjust it to how much I want it to open. Now that I've adjusted it, I only want it to open that much. I go to this button here and I hold it down for several seconds until the tail lamps flash and beep. Now, I'll use this button to close it. And now I'll open it with a key fob. That's pressing twice on this button right here. And you'll see that it opens to where I set it to open and no farther. Still not done. All right, I'm going to close it with the key fob as well. 2 presses. Because you can also open just the glass. 2 clicks of that button, and we have access to our 26 cubic feet of cargo space through the glass. Speaking of cargo space, let me quickly show you what it looks like with the 3rd and 2nd row folded down. Oh, of course, you can also just open it down here. Now, as I said, with all 3 rows up, you get 26 cubic feet of storage space, which is adequate for a lot of the normal situations. But if you need more space, check it out. We've got power folding 3rd and 2nd row options. And if you need it, we also have AC power right there as well. 3rd row's up. 3rd row is down, and now we have 73 cubic feet of storage. And you notice that the headrest automatically folded down at the last minute as well. Super cool. All right, but it's not just the 3rd row. Now it's time to move the 2nd row. Press the buttons. And now we have 123 cubic feet of storage space, and, you know, a nice little den if you want to look at it a different way. But maybe you're thinking, you know what? I don't need a flat floor. I need something taller that I can put into the 2nd row. Well, let's press the 2nd row buttons again. Come on. How cool is that? By the way, the 3rd row will actually fold up automatically as well. Just got to do the headrests. Ah, gadgets. I love them. All right, so these are the different operations for moving the 2nd row around. Lift up on this twice. That's how I get into the 2nd row. Plenty of load space to do it. And you can see just as I walk in that this is clearly set up for kids. And here I'll move to the other side. Seat bottoms are pretty darn low, so I don't have much thigh support. I've got more than a 90-degree bend in my knees, but I do have a decent amount of legroom here, probably 6 inches. Even with all that, though, I still wouldn't be very comfortable getting here for more than a few minutes. And I am 5 foot 11 inches tall, or 181 centimeters. But I do get cup holders and a little storage space there, and I do get a USB Type-C to plug a device into as well. All right, let's move to the 2nd row. This all operates pretty easily, but it does take a bit of muscle because you are lifting the seat bottom up as you're folding the seat back. That part's easy though. All right, I am going to give myself a little bit more legroom. Pull on this. This Tahoe is equipped with the $1,995 rear seat entertainment center. That means I've got a 12.6 inch screen to look at right here, as well as USB and HDMI ports to plug into right there. And finally, this is a 3-zone climate control system. So you can see I've got controls right there, as well as heated seats for both the 2nd row passengers. Also from the 2nd row, you have a nice view of the panoramic moonroof, and I have plenty of headroom, still have plenty of knee room, and I have much better thigh support. The seat bottoms are definitely higher in this place. This certainly is not as comfortable as the front row, but adults could be here for some time and be just fine. All right, let's go to the front. As I open the front door, what you're going to see is a 2-tone interior, which is black and maple sugar. You also, of course, get power locks, power windows, driver memory, side view mirror adjust. We've got this nice Chevrolet kick plate down here, plenty of seat controls for the power seats. We have lots of controls over here. This is a 4-wheel drive system, which means you have 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low options, or you can just put it in automatic mode. You do have an electric parking brake. You have adjustments to make for your digital instrument cluster screen right there. Headlights. Here's a trailer brake adjustment right here. This car does have a 15-inch head-up display, and you have options to control it here, plus a whole bunch of other options here. Plug-in, camera angles, hill descent control, stability control options, parking, lane keep, all that kind of stuff. We do have tilt and telescope adjustment in the steering, and it is powered, and it is right there. This is a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster, and this fully digital screen is on the LT and up trims standard. Starting up the 6.2-liter V8. Steering wheel has lots of options here, including heated seats, which is something I'm definitely looking forward to, and more controls over here. We do have a push-button Prindle right here, as well as a 10.2-inch center console touchscreen. I'll talk about a couple features there in just a moment. Going down here, here are your other 2 zones of your 3-zone climate control system. Down here, this is a Qi wireless charging bank right there. And you see we also have heated and ventilated seats for both front passengers, as well as an option to turn on and off the second row climate control access. Of course, we have cup holders and a nice big center console. And if we open that up, there's some headphones for the rear entertainment display and plenty more storage. Looking up, we have a rear view mirror, but if I flip this right here, it becomes a rear view camera. And if I hit this button right here, you can see that we have lots of options which are adjusted right here, and we have several options: brightness, zoom, height of the camera, and then back to brightness. We have lots of controls. I showed you this already for the power liftgate and the different options there. You can also play with the seat folding right here. The moonroof itself has a slide option here, a tilt option here, and here's your privacy panel. This 10.2-inch center console touchscreen has a lot of the usual things that modern cars do, and we're looking at the home screen. You see we have a lot of different settings, but what you might have noticed is this Google logo right here and this map logo right here. For 2022, this system has Google Assistant and Google Maps and some other Google features built into it. Toyota also utilizes Google Maps, but this is the only other car I've seen aside from Polestar that makes use of Google Assistant, and I have to say that it works pretty darn well. Now, it's grayed out right now, but you can also see that we have access to connect with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And of course, this is a big body-on-frame SUV based on the Chevrolet Silverado, so we do have a lot of trailering options. So you have a whole setup to put in trailers and do a lot of things like that. All right, I want to show you these cameras because this Tahoe is equipped with a lot of them, and there's a lot of cool, useful features here. So we'll go here, cameras, and you can see right here, we have this 360-degree view right now, and this is currently showing the forward view camera right here. But look down here, we have lots of options for looking at the view. So first of all, this little like over the top 360-degree view, you can turn it on and off right here. So now I have a bigger screen of just what's in front of me, okay? But I'll turn that back on. Down here, I can look in front of me or behind me. I can also look in front of me with more of an overhead view, or behind me with more of an overhead view, or I can look at the sides of the car, that's looking at the rear, or the side view looking at the front. Also, you lose this 360-degree view thing right here, but I've got a trailer camera right there. Now, we have these two options right here. If I go to here, I get my 360-degree view back, right? I can turn my grid on, and if I flip to the back, I get the grid going backwards. And if, well, I'm in park right now, but if I turn the wheel, it gives me that estimation of where the car is going to end up. And finally, if we're looking at the backup camera and I switch it to the trailer, it gives me a trailer line right there. This is very clever. I like this quite a lot. Drive modes. You get 4 drive modes in the Tahoe Premier. You get normal, sport, off-road, and tow haul. Off-road and tow haul, that's kind of expected, but sport, I'll get to that later on the drive. Hi everybody. Well, it's definitely exciting to be driving this nearly 3-ton body-on-frame truck-based SUV, the 5th generation Chevrolet Tahoe. And it's also quite nice to be driving the premier version of this Chevrolet Tahoe, even though this actually isn't the highest trim available. There are 6 trims available on the Tahoe: LS, LT, Z71, RST, this Premier, and then High Country. But because this one has the premium package and the 6.2 liter V8, this feels like an awfully small stepping stone to the lush and plush and also huge Cadillac Escalade. But this 6.2 liter V8 is actually only one of 3 engines available on the Tahoe. Standard equipment is actually a 5.3 liter V8 that makes 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. On the Premier trim, if you're willing to spend an additional $820, you can instead get the 277 horsepower 3 liter inline-6 diesel engine that benefits you with obviously much better fuel economy, but also 460 pound-feet of torque. Or you can spend an additional $2,495 and get this 6.2 liter V8, which ups horsepower to 420, but keeps torque at 460 pound-feet. You also get additional technology with this engine, including something called dynamic fuel management, which includes 12 modes of cylinder deactivation, which gives you broader ways to improve fuel economy by shutting down some of the cylinders, and Chevrolet claims that can work even when towing. Of course, the 6.2 liter still gives you the worst fuel economy, but I'll put the numbers up on the screen here. You can see that the difference between the 5.3 liter and the 6.2 liter is actually pretty small. Regardless of which engine you pick, however, you get a 10-speed automatic transmission no matter what. Also, you can choose on most trims between 2 and 4-wheel drive, and that costs an extra $3,000 no matter which trim you're talking about. However, the Z71 is 4-wheel drive only. And since we're talking about trims and powertrain, a couple of quick notes. The 6.2 liter V8 is not available on the LS or the LT trims, and the diesel is not available with the Z71. And finally, if you go all the way to the top trim, the High Country, the 6.2 liter is the standard engine. However, the diesel is available and actually a fair amount cheaper if you pick that engine. All this talk about powertrains is making me quite itchy to show you how well this thing accelerates. All right, guys, time for a quick acceleration test. We do have the bigger 6.2 liter V8 with 420 horsepower, and we do, of course, have 4-wheel drive, but we don't actually have an entirely dry road. But hey, I'm actually not that worried. Let's give it a try. Okay, coming to a complete stop. Good bit of brake torque. Off we go. Oh, kind of an ease into it kind of launch, and we are in the sport mode, driving mode as well. But man, once we get moving, we definitely get moving. Wow. Yeah, that 6.2 liter V8 is healthy. 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, and a 10-speed automatic transmission. So we're never far from the peaks of the engine. That was very healthy acceleration. Once we got going, off the line was a little bit on the easy side, even in the sport driving mode. That's right, even though this thing is this big and this heavy, that V8 hustles, man. But it's funny to say, because in a lot of ways you would think this is largely about just going in a straight line, be it accelerating, hauling people around, hauling stuff around, or towing a trailer. But I still had to figure out how well this thing handled, so let me show you that right now. All right, guys, time for a handling test. I am once again in the sport driving mode, but this is a truck-based SUV that weighs nearly 3 tons. Expectations aren't all that high. Here we go. Well, got some stability control intervention there, which is understandable. This is not entirely dry road here. But I have to say, it's handling reliably. It's competent, and the body control is actually pretty good. The magnetic ride shocks are doing a lot here to help keep the body in check, and we're not getting tons of roll considering everything. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Okay, truck-based SUV, Obviously, grip isn't that high. Obviously, there's a lot of energy to move around. We don't have fantastic turn and response or anything like that. But considering all of those things, it's actually pretty darn good in terms of body control and just responses. So the steering, obviously we had understeer, but the steering was pretty darn precise, and it was actually quite easy to feel the limit of this big SUV and keep it there. That says something. That's going to make it easier to tow things and get through some more mountainous roads with a lot of heavy equipment if you have that competent feel. Kind of good, right? I mean, considering the size of this thing, considering the wheelbase of this thing, considering all the factors that would just fundamentally go against this SUV, it handles pretty darn well. I give a lot of credit to the magnetic ride control adaptive shocks. That makes a big difference, and magnetic ride control are among the fastest at adapting to the situations. Like, we're talking about 1 millisecond, 2 milliseconds, and it can start making changes. So those certainly play a role and definitely help. And it's really nice because when you're not in a sportier setting, you also get a pretty darn decent ride. And that's on roads like this or on the interstate. And of course, I had to take it out on the interstate as well. Let me show you that. All right, everybody, time to try this Tahoe out on the interstate. I am now in normal driving mode. This does have adaptive cruise control, so I'll give that a try. 10-speed automatic transmission and 420 horsepower. We have plenty of power to very easily get up to speed. Setting the cruise control now. Have the shortest gap set. We are, of course, in 10th gear, and we're cruising around 1600 RPM, so the engine is not doing much work right now. This is a truck-based SUV. We do have a lot of wind to push out of the way, so we can hear wind more than usual. Road noise isolation is okay. Wind noise isolation is okay, but it is louder than car-based SUVs in general. Of course, this thing can tow a lot more, can it? This is not Cadillac, so we don't have Super Cruise, nor do we have Super Cruise available, but I can't imagine that's too far in the future. Obviously, General Motors has the technology, and automation is still marching forward, so some of those types of systems can't be that far away. But generally, I mean, you have just a very low distant hum from the V8 in the background, and you have a comfortable ride. One big plus is because we have the magnetic ride control shocks, the ride is very pleasant, you know, going over the bumps, and this is a new generation suspension in addition to being a new generation frame. So the shortest distance for the adaptive cruise control is, you know, a touch longer than I'd like. It's probably, you know, a good 80 feet, but it's not bad. It's certainly not a huge amount farther than other adaptive cruise control systems. But it is one of the reasons why I tend to prefer standard cruise control. This is generally a very good, very pleasant highway cruiser. Now, 19 miles to the gallon, that's going to add up pretty quickly. But hey, again, this is a really big SUV that can haul a lot of stuff and carry a lot of weight. So, you know, it's always a trade-off. Now that was a little bit more in line with what I expected from a big SUV like this. All that air you have to push out of the way, and the fact that we're talking about a Chevrolet and not a Cadillac. But something big and truck-based and V8 powered like this, of course towing is something you might think about, and yes, this can tow a lot. This Tahoe is equipped with the max trailering package, which does add 500 pounds to the max you can tow, which, because this also is the bigger and heavier V8 and four-wheel drive, is 8,100 pounds. If you were to get the 5.3 liter and two-wheel drive, that number goes up to 8,400 pounds. Also, payload capacity varies between 1,616 pounds and 1,834 pounds based on how you have your Tahoe equipped. And because we live in modern times, of course, this has modern safety equipment. The Tahoe is equipped with something called the Chevy Safety Assist, which includes a bevy of options, and I'll put them on the screen right there. The usual standard stuff you see right here. Additionally, because we have the premium package on this particular Tahoe, I also have adaptive cruise control, which you saw when I was on the freeway. So yeah, this Tahoe is pretty darn expensive, but if you think about the fact that you can get one for not much more than $50,000, there's a wide range of budgets you can fill as well. On top of that, it can tow more than 4 tons of stuff and also offer you technology like Google Maps and Google Assistant. So obviously, this isn't for the fuel miserly among us. To be in the teens for both city and highway fuel economy is pretty rough to handle these days. But if you want something big with a lot of space and a lot of towing capability and a lot of comfort, this is a great option. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching. And if you are still watching, I would really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Those things really do help me out quite a lot. Okay, goodbye. Okay, gotta hear that V8 once more. Oh yeah.